Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com. So I thought I would do a video based on a quote that I got from a book that I read called Shoe Dog, and it's a story of Nike. I actually did a review on this. So we'll see. I don't know which video will come out first, but I wanted to talk about this quote, which was indirectly referenced in the book, which is a tiger hunts best when it's hungry. Because I thought that this is such a good concept for a lot of the things that I talk about and a lot of the kind of psychology behind what I do and what I promote here on this channel, because it's sort of like this deeper thing that I didn't really I didn't really tap into. It connected with me when I heard this. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And I'm going to talk about this in a variety of contexts. I've talked about a lot of times about this idea of crutches and why I don't like crutches, but now, now I think that there's kind of, you can apply it to this, right? Is you can see that what a crutch does is it makes you not hungry. I did this video, this famous video on porn and masturbation, which you can check out here. And in that video, I talked about how I felt like, I'm not talking about, and a lot of things, drug use, all this stuff, I don't talk about it from an ethical, like a moral standpoint, because honestly, I don't care. People have different viewpoints. I'm not saying that ethics and morality isn't important, but I'm not going to convince you based on that, right? And that's not, I feel like if there's not a pragmatic reason for doing something, as much as you agree that it's right or wrong, you're gonna do what's pragmatic, what's practical, what you want to do in your life. And so, being right or wrong might just make you feel guilty, but it's not going to change anything, right? But what if you want to get certain results and you believe that you're going to get the results by doing this thing, that's more likely to cause a change than guilt is. Guilt never works. Guilt doesn't. It's not a solution. We're guilty for a lot of things. We keep on doing them. Why? Because we don't actually believe that we're going to get the result that we want. We're getting the result that we want. We just feel guilty for that result. So if we change that connection, then we can actually overcome addictions. We can overcome these problems and things that make us feel guilty, that we feel like we don't have power in our lives to control. You can check out this video I did on overcoming addictions if you're interested in that as well. But let's talk about this in the context of this kind of deeper thought about that a tiger hunts best when it's hungry. So think about it this way, right? If you are using crutches in your life, right? If, for example, you're a guy and you are utilizing pornography or masturbation, right? The combination of the two in order to fulfill your sexual urges, right? That are, perfectly natural. What's going to happen, right? You're not going to be as hungry. Now, you might still be hungry, but you're not going to be as hungry. And so when you're not going to be forced into a situation where you're going to have the best hunting skills possible, right? So you're not going to go out, and I give you the advice, and I said, you can check out the playlist on becoming more of a man and attracting women that I've done. And in that, I'm a lot of times telling you, go out and just go talk. Just go and, go overcome your fears and go and talk to, you want to figure out how that you're going to get a girlfriend, or, go and talk to girls. Like if you're afraid to do that, then you got to overcome that fear, right? And so if you're not hungry, you're going to be less successful in doing that. You're not going to be as good of a hunter because you're not going to be as motivated, right? But if you're really, really hungry, if you're starved, right, in this context, imagine how much more effective that advice is going to be. Now you're going to actually be able to apply that advice because you're like, damn, I'm super hungry. I'm going to go out and get some food, right? I mean, people will do desperate, crazy things when they're hungry that they wouldn't do if they're not hungry. And so the idea is, and again, I'm using that example, but hopefully some of you haven't turned off the video at this point, because there's a lot more ways to apply this. But I'm using that example because that's one that we can kind of register in our head very well. But let's take actual hunger, right? So I eat one meal a day, right? Now, there's a lot of reasons why I did that, or why I do that. You can check out my video on fasting and eating one meal a day. But one of them is just so that I'm damn hungry in general. And the more hungry I am, the more that I want to accomplish the things in life. If you're filled, if you're satisfied, if you don't have that hunger in life, you're not going to go out and do the things that you need to do. If I'm always hungry, if I'm always, physically hungry, I'm going to hunt better. I'm going to go out and I'm going to conquer conquer the day better. I'm going to get more stuff done. And when I hit the gym, I'm going to hit it harder, right? Because I'm going to go and earn my meal. I'm going to have that fire. And so you've got to have this in multiple areas of your life. You got to figure out ways to keep yourself hungry, because as soon as you're satisfied, as soon as you're fat and happy, you start becoming complacent. And when you become complacent, you can no longer achieve your goals. So if you want to achieve your goals, if you want to have that motivation, you got to figure out some way to make yourself hungry. What is it that's going to drive you, that's going to make you hungry? How can you deprive yourself of something that maybe you could get access to, that's going to make you hungry, so that you're going to overcome, so you're going to hunt better, like that tiger that's hungry? I think sometimes we forget this. We forget that what actually makes us better is when we have that hunger. And so we've got to figure out ways to do that. And again, that's why I talk about these crutches. If you are, some people, I frequently get comments on the channel like, oh, but you should smoke some marijuana because that will help chill you out, and it's great, and I don't know why people attack marijuana because it's good. Fine, whatever. I'm not going to debate those specific things, but I'm just going to say this. If you're using that as a crutch because that's what calms your nerves and makes you chill out and feel better, okay, then you're not going to be hungry. You're not going to be as hungry. I mean, just in general, if it's going to sedate you to some degree and make you chill, you're not going to be hungry. All right? I want you to be hungry if you want to achieve your goals. I'm not saying you can't ever relax. I'm not saying you can't ever have a good time. I'm not saying you can't ever do recreational drugs if you want to, right? I'm not going to judge you on that, but I am saying that if you're making it a habit and you're making it a crutch and you're living your life around all of these crutches, if you got to watch TV to unwind or smoke cigarettes or do marijuana or look at pornography on the internet or things like that, right? All of these crutches, what they're going to do is they're going to make you not hungry. The same thing with overeating. If you eat food all the time, if you never deprive yourself, if you can't fast, if you can't go and do a workout and put yourself through some pain and discomfort, you're not going to be hungry, right? Because you're going to have what you want. You have the comforts of life. You have everything in front of you. So sometimes you got to purposely decide to hold back. You got to purposely not take the crutch, not take the pill, do it the hard way, right? Sometimes it's better to go the hard way in order to build that hunger in you. And that hunger is the biggest factor of success, of motivation to have that success. In fact, Tony Robbins talks about this a lot. He's one of the guys I highly respect, and he talks about the biggest difference between people who are successful and not successful, as he says hunger. And I didn't really get that before until this quote, triggered in my brain. I said, a tiger hunts best when he's hungry. And so, one thing that I would challenge you to do is maybe look at your life and figure out how can I make myself more hungry, right? It might be, physically hungry. I think there's a benefit to that, but in other areas, right? Where are the areas where you have complacency? Where are the areas where you want to get results, right? You have these goals, but for some reason you're not achieving them and you've got complacency. Again, for a lot of you guys out there, it could be in the romantic interest area. And so you might want to look at it and say, look, what am I doing? How am I giving myself rewards or complacency? How am I preventing myself from being hungry? And how can I take that away? How can I build hunger in that area? How can I build a massive hunger that's going to result in massive results and massive action, right? It could be in your physical appearance, in your body, right? What is the problem here, right? What if you're eating, if you're happy, if you're satiated, right? Then maybe you need to figure out some ways to build that hunger, right? Some ways to make it so that you're hungry enough to go out and get the results that you want in life, or to deny yourself some of the things that will keep you hungry so that you'll keep on going forward and getting those results, right? If it's career, right? What is it? What is it that's going to make you more hungry? What things are you doing that are causing you to relax and unwind when you don't need to be doing that? You need to be getting a fire lit under your ass. You need to get hungry about what you want to achieve in life. What are all those areas, and what are the crutches that you're using in life? What are the particular things that you do? Is it pills? Is it drugs? Is it sex? Is it whatever it is, right? What are those crutches? Is it even compliments or, needing external validation? You can watch a video I did on external validation. Are all those things crutches that are preventing you from being hungry? If you're constantly being told how good you are, and you're constantly relying on other people propping you up, right? That's a crutch. That's something that's going to prevent you from being hungry. But if you're really hungry for success, to get real, true validation of what you've accomplished, that's going to cause you, drive you to go forward and to attack things like a tiger that's hungry. And if you just think that, visualize that in your head, of this idea of a tiger attacking, of hunting better when it's hungry, and you figure out the ways in your life that you can make yourself more hungry, you're going to achieve your goals a lot better. And this is something I need to work on too, practice and figure out these areas where sometimes I'm not as hungry as I should be, right? So how can I make it? What can I dangle? What can I give myself as a possible reward? Or how can I take away some of the comforts that I have so that I'm more hungry and more hungry? And then that's what's going to drive me forward. I got to figure out some of these things, and you do as well. If you like this video, click that subscribe button below. We will decide to be hungry together. And if you have a question for me, you can always email me at john@simpleprogrammer.com. I'll talk to you next time. Stay hungry.